Welcome back, everyone. In the last video, we learned about how React and ReactDOM work as base libraries. In this video, we're going to push it a little further before we move on to actually building our application back in the world of beautiful JSX. But here, I just really want you to become familiar with what React as a library works, so that you understand what JSX is doing compared to what you would have to do if you didn't have JSX. So as we saw, we've initialized our app component. And I typically want to actually make components that are a little bit more interesting. So let's keep this H1. Let's say underneath, we wanted to create a few elements that were a little bit more complicated. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a new component and I'm going to call it person. This person component is a functional component. So here, React is smart enough to say, oh, you're still passing me functional components. It's going to behave the exact same. Remember, create element really just replaces JSX. Everything else about our components is still the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to write a functional component that gets props as an object. And instead, I'm just going to return back what I want for this person. And let's say that we know for sure we need a parent level container. So I'm going to use a div. So I'm going to say react.createElement, and it's going to be a div. And I'm not going to pass it any attributes in this particular case. And inside, I want it to have children. And these children that I want, I'm going to say react.createElement again. The first child should be an H1. And the value inside should be props.name. So again, no attributes, but the children inside is just the text node, which is the string. Strings automatically get converted to text nodes, which is really what you see when you look at strings that aren't wrapped in like a paragraph or inside of a span. Whenever you see those are text nodes. So I'm saying props.name because I know it'll be a string. And then underneath that, let's just say that for this person, it's both a name that we're going to pass, but also a set another string. Let's say occupation. So I'm going to say react.createElement here. And this one, I want to be in a paragraph text. Again, no more attributes. I'm just going to say props.occupation. And with this, we have our person component. So what I want to do now is I want to, let's say, create more. So I'm going to do react.createElement. And here, I'm going to pass it the person. Again, remember, the attributes are the props. That's how you pass props into this component. So here we know that we want to give it a name. So the first one, let's say it's Yihua. As for the occupation, I am an instructor. And then inside, I want to pass no children. So you can pass null, or you don't have to pass anything. But I'm just going to pass null, so we're really explicit about it. Next, let's make two more. So here, I'm also going to do Andre. And he is a lead instructor. And he's also going to have no children. And then finally, let's just say there's Emily. And her occupation is a teacher. And now, if we save our application, and we go back, and we refresh, we see that we have our three instructors, or our three people. And here we really saw a little bit more of a verbose example of how we've created two different components, both our app component and our person component, and how we can leverage React to actually put these elements on the page. With this, you've pretty much just seen what it is that JSX does. JSX just simplifies this entire process, but we're still writing functional components. Everything else about these components is the exact same. It's really just the fact that with JSX, it looks a lot more like readable HTML as far as dictating what UI we want to render. Reading react.createElement, this is a lot more difficult on our eyes as developers in order to actually write this code. But it's really simple. It's pretty much just what kind of component are you trying to make? What are the attributes / props you want to give me? And then what are the children inside? That's it. That's really all it's doing under the hood. In fact, in order to make this easier, what we can do is we can actually copy all of this code. And what we can do is create another file called app.js. And inside our app.js, we can just paste this code that we have. And then what we can do is we can just leverage this code inside of our script tag. So here, I'm going to save it all, get rid of this. And then this script source is just going to point to the code inside of our relative folder. So I'm going to go /app.js. And now if I save and I look back and I refresh, my code still works. This is really just a very bare bones, none of the benefits that we get from utilizing Webpack that helps build our code. We just wrote all of our code in right now in raw HTML and raw JavaScript. But really, with all these tooling that Create React App gives us, and with JSX and all of these bells and whistles, it just makes it so it's a lot more of a pleasant developer experience in order for us to write our React code. But I really just want to peel back away. What is JSX? What is React doing? What is ReactDOM doing? So that you have a better understanding of how these libraries function, so that when you're actually writing your React code, you have a solid foundation to stand on. But now that we understand what React and ReactDOM do for us as libraries, it's much easier now moving forward for us to just leverage JSX to write our code. So hopefully you understand what we just went through with React and ReactDOM. So let's move on with building our application.